All right. So here we are. Greg Flames, Pirate of the Seven Galaxies. This is an English class, an RPG English class, where we use um, an AI dungeon master with and where this RPG rules is not like a conventional RPG, right? Where we do not use die or dice to see the outcome of certain actions. It's your writing and grammar decides if you get a critical success, partial success, critical failure, or partial failure. Right. So this is Greg Flames, Pirate of the Seven Galaxies. So Greg Flames, give me a recap of what's going on in our story.
So yeah, so we started our adventure, let's say, so chasing a alien zombie ship, and then uh, we were traveling light speed, I think, through the warp, and then something um actually another alien ship, an eldritch alien ship, also interrupted our travel, let's say, and it demanded us
Your
to
trip,
to
your travels. Usually we could put like that, but like viaging, we'll say trip. Travel
trip.
is best for as a verb, right?
That's true. That's true. Our trip, and
Or your voyage. One thing that they use a lot, like in Star Trek stuff, your voyage, through warp, right?
oh, yeah, our voyage through warp was interrupted by a eldritch elf, and it demanded so. And I think the captain most likely um, demanded us to hand over all fuel and maybe some important stuff.
Yeah, your
And then
cargo, or right? They wanted to loot you, right?
yeah, cargo. That's right. And then but I refused to give the cargo, and I ended up intimidating the poor elf. And so in the end, he actually handed over his cargo and and vanished. And then I ordered my crew to shoot the cargo because first I don't like elf stuff. I think it's uh, disgusting, and I don't like elves. And
Yeah.
the second thing is, I actually thought it was some kind of it could be some kind of trap. I need to say that, and it actually was like my crew was a little bit skeptical about that, but
Skeptical,
they
skeptical.
skeptical about
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But they carried on, and the cargo was destroyed, but something was inside it, kind of an alien, bright alien, I think, made of light, or it looked like it was emanating some kind of light, and
Uh-huh.
that's exactly where we're stopped. Plus, my crew warned me that our fuel is actually
Whoa. That's why they're kind of like, what the fuck did you do, man? You destroyed
yeah,
all this fuel. But you destroyed it and there was
yeah,
this
that creature.
creature or whatever it was. It kind of explained what it was. Let's uh let's see here. Understand? So I'll read this part. We read this part, right? We read this, but I'll just read it again, which is what the last thing you said, right? So the stellar essence canisters erupt, spectacular in other spectacular display of emerald and gold light, sending shock waves that rock the crimson hook. The elven dreadnought doesn't wait to see the fireworks. It blinks out of the sector in a flash of bioluminescent energy, right? Yeah, before you
Right.
could do anything. On the bridge, The silence is heavy. Your crew members exchange looks. They see the fortune you just turned into space dust. One gunner mutters something to a navigator. You catch the word insane, but they quickly snap to attention when you turn around. Captain, your first mate says, clearing his throat. The scanners have picked up a lingering trail of necrotic particles. It leads toward a nearby asteroid belt. If the ivory maw is hiding, that's where they've gone. But we are running low on high grade fuel after the last stunt. We can reach them, but we won't have much left for a chase if they bolt. Just then, a proximity alarm blares. Something is emerging from the debris of the canisters you have just destroyed. Usually with just, it should be best with, it's not wrong, you just destroyed, but present perfect makes more sense, especially with just, because the moment of destroying the canisters doesn't matter, right? What you're seeing right now, this is the result. When you've just done something, the result of that past action in the present moment matters, right? So,
Right.
the canisters you have just destroyed. I noticed that sometimes AI goes to more conventional speaking, right? And
Yep.
then more than formal. But one thing I say, using the present perfect correctly doesn't make you, sound pretentious.
Mhm. That's
Speaking
important to know.
speaking correct structure doesn't make you sound pretentious. You know, what
Yeah.
makes you sound pretentious is using big words that nobody knows, right? You learn big words and you use a lot of difficult words that people usually don't use in everyday conversations. That makes you sound pretentious, right? Not saying that you shouldn't learn. Yes, learn big words. It's good. It's nice. It's fun. I think it's fun. But use it for writing, right? Use it for writing, for poetry, write a song.
Yeah.
Write a song with big words, right? And sometimes in conventional conversations, if you know that word and that word is perfect for that moment, and if somebody doesn't know it, or they will pretend they know what you're talking about, or they'll ask and you just tell them, right? But here, this
Yeah.
is something that I think is funny, that this AI is supposedly, the main thing is for writing, right? And for correct writing. And I see it often goes to more, everyday conversation style, English. But I think it's funny because using correct structure like this, the canisters you have justice. That doesn't sound pretentious. That doesn't sound like, he thinks he's highly educated. No, it doesn't. It's not even. Remember, structure in English isn't even the hard part of English. You
Yeah.
know,
True.
it's
Yeah.
it's pretty simple. But okay, but there's something, right? It's not that
Yeah.
this is wrong, right? I'm not saying that the AI is wrong here. Sometimes the AI is wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong. But here and this, I'm not, right? But okay, it isn't the elves. It's a small, shimmering creature made of pure light, an eldritch wisp, and it seems to be attracted to the lingering energy of your ship's energies, of your ship's engines. Sorry,
Yeah.
engines. What do you do, Captain? Focus on the zombie ship in the asteroid belt, or deal with this glowing hitchhiker first? Well, here we have it, right? The Eldridge Wisp. Yeah, so it was inside the canister. So they gave you this. So it was some type of trap,
I think so. Right?
supposedly, seemingly, right?
Yeah.
So what do? Well, you know what to do. You may write down your actions, and then the story shall continue, right?
Yeah.
While he's reading, you can see here. He was talking to the Eldridge elves. They're handing over the canisters here. And this is Greg destroying the fuel canisters. I forgot. What was the name of your ship?
Crimson Hook.
Ah, the Crimson Hook is your. Ah, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
The Crimson Hook. So, what will Greg Flames, Pirate of the Seven Galaxies, do?
Just a second.
No, not just not hurrying you. Just keeping the question open. What? An Eldridge Wisp. So just for whoever's listening here, Greg Flames is a pirate of the Seven Galaxies, and he hunts zombie space pirates. And while he was hunting down the Crimson Maw, a ship of zombie pirates, he was intercepted by some fucking eldritch elves. And elves suck. Elves are always assholes, as usual. They wanted to take Greg's cargo, but Greg rolled for intimidation and won. And the elves handed over their cargo. But Greg is pretty proud and hates elves as much as I do, it seems, and destroyed their cargo. But inside the cargo, there was this wisp, this eldritch wisp, which I believe is this thing right here.
Yeah, I have something.
All right, so let's see. Let's go.
Not,
Let's go. Let me just copy here.
not super exciting yet, but soon, I guess. Let's see.
You know, anything you do, you know, will continue the story one way or another, you know. If you say, oh, I just scratch my head and wonder, what should I do now? You know, that story will continue. Well,
Yeah,
you may read here.
yeah, let's see. So, I can't help myself but to cast a glance to the crew in the bridge that screams, I knew it was a trap, and you should trust your captain more. I thoughtfully pulled the smoke from the pipes to the
Yeah,
deeps of my.
one thing here. That you see the period here. Remember, inside the quote.
That's what,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, inside the quote. So,
You have told me about that.
mm,
So, yeah. I thoughtfully pulled the smoke.
thoughtfully.
Yeah, thoughtfully. Thoughtfully. Pull the smoke from the pipes to the deeps of my lungs while I try to come up with our next move. As an attempt to give my brain more input, I ask my comrades if anyone has any idea what
comrades.
comrades.
Yeah,
comrades.
not raid ads. Comrades. Yeah.
Comrades. I ask to my comrades if anyone has any idea what that creature is. But I have a bad feeling about this, honestly. I'm leaning towards zipping away as fast as I can.
Okay. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Grammar analysis. Wait. Yeah. Grammar roll, the unfamiliar creature. Let's see how your crew responds to your questions and your commanding glance to determine if someone aboard knows what this eldritch wisp is. Choose the correct words to fix the mistakes from your text.
Oh no!
Oh, it's
Give me the answer.
Oh crap! It's doing that again. Because it's making a different type. Make the grammar rule again. Only tell me what is success or not after I give my answer. Oops. Sometimes I forget how to write. Just because it was making a different type of grammar. I was like, oh wow, it's making it. Oh, again, it's did it again. You did it again. At the end. did it again. Let me just say that. I think I'll understand. Deepest apologies. Take 3. Okay.
Right.
Okay, now I did it. So choose the correct option for each question. See if your crew. No, but use the mistakes from what I have written to make the grammar roll. Come on, you know how this works. You should know by now. You know. Grammar roll creature. Take 4. Okay.
Maybe
Well,
now.
maybe now. Well, let's see. So let's lock in and do this exactly by your rules using direct mistakes from your previous turn. Choose the correct option for each question. So, which sentence uses the correct preposition for looking at the crew? A. I can't help myself but to cast a glance to the crew in the bridge. I can't help B. I can't help myself but to cast a glance at the crew on the bridge. So we have to the crew and in the bridge, right? At the
Yeah.
crew on the bridge. I can't help myself but to cast a glance for the crew in the bridge. I can't help myself but to cast a glance to the crew on the bridge.
All right.
So
Uh, B.
B.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't help myself but to cast a glance at the crew on the bridge. Okay.
I was in doubt if it was in the bridge or on the bridge in this case, because bridge is it's not actually a bridge, right?
Uh-huh.
That one spans over a river or something like that. So, but I was not sure. But the at, I think it's right. You look at the person or you glance at the
You
person. Maybe.
uh
Yeah.
this you're sure, but this you're kind of in doubt.
But I was now I guess it's probably on the bridge, even though bridge in this case is a room. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Maybe I'll explain it. Let's
yeah.
see, and then we will go over. Um, 2. So same thing. Which sentence is best, right? Describes breathing in the pipe smoke. Yeah. I thoughtfully pull the smoke from the pipes to the deeps of my lungs. I thoughtfully pull the smoke from the pipes to the deepness of my lungs. I thoughtfully pull the smoke from the pipes to the deeply of my lungs. I thoughtfully pull the smoke from the pipes into the depths of my lungs.
Uh, D.
D.
Yeah.
Which sentence
Three.
uses the correct structure for talking to your crew? I ask to my comrades if anyone has any idea what that creature is. I ask at my comrades if anyone has any idea what that creature is. I ask my comrades if anyone has any idea what that creature is. I ask for my comrades if anyone has any idea what that creature is.
I guess C.
C.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Let's see. So everything seems correct, right? Glance at is the right preposition, and as we say, on the bridge of a ship. Yeah, we use on.
Okay.
Yeah, one thing that people get confused is sometimes with certain vehicles or things, it's kind of like this. Okay, on the bridge of a ship, we say on the bridge. Yeah, even though you're in a room, it's a room,
Yeah.
right? Right, but it's on the bridge. Uh, but we also use on, that sometimes using on in a way that confuses people. Like, okay, I say in a car, in a van, in a truck, but on the bus, on a plane, on a train. Usually these like a public transportation, vehicle. We say on. I'm on a boat.
On a boat. Yeah, true.
Yeah. So on the bridge, I'm not sure if it has something to do with that. I just know that yeah, we use on the bridge, you know. But yeah, in on and at always right. Always an issue. Always an issue. Always good to pay attention. D, correct.
Sure.
Into the depths is the correct idiom for breathing or reaching deep inside something. C, ask takes a direct object without a preposition. Yeah, you never ask to ask. You could ask for something, right? But I ask something.
Right.
I can ask for something, like I want something, but
Yeah.
I ask you for something. Like I ask a question, I ask you something. You ask, this is a very common mistake. People, I don't remember if you did that, right? We'll go. Now let's read this and then I'll go up to see what you. But usually people put something after ask and we don't. Ask to, ask for. No, no, no,
I
no,
put
no.
yeah,
Yeah.
put two. Yeah.
Ask takes a direct object without a preposition. No to, no for, none of that. So you got a critical success. You hit a perfect score on the mistakes. Your tactical commanding presence holds absolute authority on the bridge. Very good. On the
On the
bridge.
yeah.
Grammar correction and feedback. So glancing and asking prepositions. In your original text, you wrote, cast a glance to the crew, ask to my comrades. In English, you glance at something. Like if you or look at, right, when you direct your eyes specifically to a thing, right, it's always at. You look at, you glance at,
Yeah.
towards. It's just like in the general direction of something. I look to the horizon. I'm not like looking at the horizon. I'm just looking in the direction of the horizon. So to or towards, you can use glance towards something. Look to, I look to the future. You're not looking at the future, right? You're looking to the future, right?
Yeah.
But when you're looking at something, like look at me, look at that, look at this, I want your eyes to look at that object, that person, that specific position, right? So you always look at, right? That's also a common thing, right? For looking, glancing at something or
Yeah.
someone. Ask is, again, talk about as, is a transitive verb when it means to put a question to someone. You don't need to or for or whatever, right? Some people use different things. You ask someone. Location on a ship. You wrote in the bridge, right? Because you think about like in the room, in the living room, right? Something like that, right?
It didn't sound correct, but I thought, well, this is a room, I guess. Maybe this is
Yeah,
in this.
yeah. But it is a room, right? You're not wrong. You are in a room. You are inside a
Yeah.
ship. You are inside this area, right? But, English, there's always exceptions. It's, we don't say in the bridge. For ships and spaceships, the command center is an open platform. Yeah, layout historically. Okay. Okay, because it's thinking about like old ships, right? Pirate ships from the past. So this is why it's
Uh,
like on. So we always say on the bridge because of a
all right.
custom of saying. Because if you think about the bridge of the ship, it's in an open area platform. If we look at pirate ships, right? Old pirate ships. So to this day, we still say on the bridge, even though you're inside a room, right? Usually ships or spaceships, right? We don't have a lot of spaceships, but but
True.
if you look like the Enterprise in Star Trek, right? It's inside
Yeah.
this. It's a big room, a big area, but So it's historical. That's why. Okay. It's historical.
It's,
I get it. I get it. So we just continue using on the bridge. So the depths, you wrote to the deeps of my lungs. Yeah, the depths. While the deeps can poetically mean the deep ocean, right? We use the standard noun for the innermost, deepest part of a physical space or organ is the depths, as profundezas, right? The depths is as profundezas. Yeah. Very good, very good. Well, let's go. The story outcome.
yeah. The crew lowers
The
their
crew?
heads. Your crew, sorry.
Uh-huh.
Your crew lowers their heads. Uh, thoroughly chest,
Chastised.
chastised,
Chastised.
chastised, chastised by your knowing glare. Chastised? What it's like obedience,
Yeah, yeah.
being obedience.
Yeah. In this case, but chastised, like you, because of your glare, like,
Uh,
they became uh obedient with that. But the meaning of chastise, you see, it comes from a verb, a past participle verb. This is one thing. When you see an ed on an adjective, that means it comes from past participle form of the verb. Do you know what that
yeah.
means?
Yes, the third column of the
Yeah. So if you think about usually third column, where do we use third column verbs?
In past perfect, when
Present
when
perfect,
it's
past perfect. When
yeah,
one thing is the result of another thing, right? That's kind of a thing. Like past perfect is like when the past is the result of another past. There's a connection of past with past. Present perfect is the present moment is the result of the past action. There's a connection of the past with the present. So this is why a lot of irregular, not only irregular verbs, but past participle verbs can be used as adjectives, right?
Yeah.
For example, like drink, drank, drunk. Drunk is the past participle of drink, but is also an adjective. But think about it, right? If I am drunk right now, that means I am the result of past actions. I have drunk a lot to be drunk.
Yeah.
Right? Break, broke, broken. If something is broken as a result, something in the past, it broke in the past. It wasn't broken, and it broke, and now it's broken. It's the result of a past action. So this is why adjectives, past participle verbs can be adjectives, right? So chastise. So yeah, more like they were disciplined, right? Because you were scolded because you looked at them like scolding, giving like a bronca, criticized, right? When they were doing something wrong, because they were wrong. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right for destroying the canisters, right? So now thoroughly, completely disciplined, scolded like, like children looking down, or a dog, when a dog does something and you give them, a scolding and they look down like that and embarrassed, right? Yeah. So that's one thing. That's why we should pay attention to EDs. Sometimes the ED is not only the verb in the past, not always in the past simple. It could be past participle, right? And sometimes it's not the verb, but it is past participle. We can say it is, even though it's an adjective, it's past participle, right? Because what is that past participle? That means one thing, there's a cause and effect for that to be like that, right?
It has logic.
Yeah, it has somewhat, sometimes English has some logic
yeah,
to it, right?
This is one of these rare cases.
Yeah, we're one of the rare cases where it's just not just total chaos, right? Yeah. So this, this is a good thing to pay attention to, right? So
Yep.
thoroughly chastised, right? So we have the adverb,
Yeah.
right? Giving a description of the adjective here.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Cool.
Or yeah, chastised, it can be adjective, or is this kind of like in the same way here, it could be like that's why passive voice we also use the past participle. Like they say, their crew, their head, lower their heads, thoroughly chastise. Here's adjective because they are like the or complete, or we can think of it as a verb in the passive voice too, because for example, passive voice we don't see the verb to be here, right? But I was robbed, right? If I say I was robbed, you see robbed, you know,
Yeah.
that doesn't make the time tense. People think, oh, I was robbed. Was is telling me it's the past. But I can say I am robbed every time I go to some place. I am robbed. Still robbed, you see? Because passive voice. So if it happened to that's what passive voice is. When something happens to the subject, cause effect, that happens. It has to have that past participle on the verb, even though it's present. I am robbed. I was robbed. I will be robbed. I have been robbed. Right? Another thing to think about. Oh, this is where we use past participle. So past participle we mainly use in present perfect, past perfect, future perfect. Okay, that's what we usually learn first. But also adjectives and passive voice. Right?
Yep.
But okay, let's continue. So thoroughly chastise.
By your knowing glare, they realize you just saved them from an elven trap, and any grumbling about the destroyed few instantly vanishes. Your first mate, a grizzled veteran, steps forward as you ask about the creature. He looks at the viewport where the eldritch wisp is posting, its light starting to turn a deep, hungry shade of violet. Captain, he whispers, his voice tense. That's no ordinary space anomaly. That's a spore wisp. It's a larval cosmic entity. It doesn't just eat engine radiation. It
Radiation.
radiation. That's
Mm-hmm.
true. It doesn't just eat engine radiation. It projects an evolutionary aura. Look at the radar.
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 Evolutionary aura. What the hell? What's an evolutionary aura? Okay, well,
Great, great question.
yeah.
Your sorry, yeah. You look down. The trail of necrotic particles from the zombie ship, the ivory maw, in the nearby asteroid belt is suddenly shifting. Under the light of the wisp, the zombie spores in the distance aren't just floating; they are mutating, growing larger, and stitching the floating space debris together
Debris.
into
There's an S. Yeah, I know. There's an S. But debris.
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 And floating space debris together into giant undead asteroid monster. A what?
So what the hell? So the ivory molecule is suddenly close by. It seems like, right?
Right, it was too far, right?
Yeah. But now it's close. I don't know, man. Maybe and it's a fact. Okay, whatever. Okay, the
Okay.
AI logic here. Just go with it, right? Just some things we just go with
Yeah,
it.
let's play with this. Yeah.
Just go with it. Okay. Suddenly the ivory maw is nearby. It had mentioned it before, but I wasn't sure if it was that close. But
Yeah, me,
okay,
me neither. I have the impression that we had to continue the warp travel to
okay. So
get there.
now, under the light of the wisp, the zombie spores in the distance. So the zombie spores, whatever that hell. This is new, I guess, too. From the ivory
True.
maw, I guess. In the distance,
Mm,
aren't just
no,
floating; they are mutating, growing larger. and stitching the floating space debris together into giant undead asteroid monsters. Okay. Okay, so the wisps. Okay, let's just continue with it. We'll see.
Your gut instinct to zip away was entirely right. If you stay here any longer, the wisp will supercharge the necrotic rot nearby, and the engine's low fuel won't be your only problem. Engaging hyperdrive warp takes 10 seconds to spool up, Captain. The navigator yells as a massive, zombie infused asteroid chunk twists in the distance, opening a giant mouth made of rock and frozen flesh.
Oh.
But but if we punch it now, the wisp might cling to our hull and jump with us.
Okay, so what do you do next, Captain Flames? Do you blast the wisp off your hull first? Well, is it on the hull? I said it
But it's
wasn't.
not. Yeah, we have time, right?
Yeah. Okay. Or do you ignore it and zip out of the sector immediately? Well, I guess we have time for one last short action here you can do.
Okay.
But the grammar roll we'll leave for next class, right? But you may write down. Let me see. Make. So, what do you do?
Yeah, let's write really, really quick.
Yeah, this image doesn't help at all. what? What?
What? What?
Little confusing, right? This part, but okay, we kind of get the idea. Kind of get the idea of what's happening. So the wisp now it looks like a crystal. It's transforming the debris into organic eldritch monster stuff. The zombie asteroid. So it's mixing up. Now refer back to the narrative. The zombie asteroids are forming, and the wisp is clinging to the hull. Okay, so that's it. To summarize of what's happening, the zombie asteroids are forming. They look like more like great old ones than with tentacles, right? Eldridge should be like Eldridge asteroids are forming, and the wisp is clinging to the hull. That's for a different image.
Okay, let's send.
Okay, let me get
Yeah.
your. Um, okay.
Okay, it's looking.
Okay, that looks better.
Yeah, it looks a little. Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that it looks less confusing now.
Yeah.
And more like zombie asteroids. Okay, just remember, remember the period inside here. Always
Sorry.
inside. Okay. So you may read.
Maybe I'm missing a comma in the other one, but let's see.
Uh-huh.
So we came here to hunt these zombies down, and this is what we are doing. Prepare to engage, I demand.
Okay, period to engage, you could put a period here.
Or period, yeah.
Or exclamation. I'll put an exclamation mark, right? Because you're giving like an order.
Yes.
And demand,
Yes.
look at that, right? So an
Yes.
exclamation mark would be good. Okay.
So first, shoot that stupid floating wisp something I cannot care less. I don't want that on my site anymore.
Okay. So we shall well let's just check if it makes the grammar rules. You know. If it does it correctly. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. Good.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Get that glowing out of my. But is it using, to be honest? Is it
No, I
using?
didn't. No.
Yeah.
No.
Let me just say, remember to use what I haven't. But okay, yeah. But usually, let's leave it. Let's leave it, and then we can discuss
Okay.
about it.
Okay.
I'll leave it like that. We can do it like this. Let's humor the AI this time sometimes, because if we keep on always, maybe it will use what you have, any mistake or anything, right? But
Right.
well, very good, sir. Well, man, have a have a great week, and see you on episode 4 of Greg Flame's Pirate of the Seven Galaxies.
Yep. Have a great week, you too, and see you next episode.
See you next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.